What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about ESPN released their post-NFL draft power rankings, and I am just kind of confused. I'm going to be honest with you. I am confused by these rankings. I don't know how, we look at ESPN as a place, puts out I believe it's the Mike Clay roster rankings, and the Jets were second in the roster rankings as recent as first, which, by the way, if you go back to my reaction to that, I was okay, yes, I agree that the Jets have a good roster, but I would pump the brakes. I think there are better rosters in the NFL. Still, in general, is the Jets 2024 roster very good? Yes. Do they have a lot to prove? Also, yes. Both those things are true. They have a very good roster, but they have a lot to prove because they haven't done it just yet. But even with this information, I think the Jets are being incredibly slept on in the latest power rankings. I think it's a little disrespectful, so let's hop into it. ESPN has the New York Jets as 17th in the NFL. This power rankings also went through just each team's most improved area, and the Jets was the offensive line, which hard agree with you there. Now, granted, the Jets 7-10 last year, again, really, really bad offense, great defense. Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, and Tim Boyle were the Jets starting quarterbacks for 16 of their 17 games, and Aaron Rodgers played 4 snaps. The Jets went 7-10, and none of those 3 quarterbacks who started games for them, Wilson, Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle, are on the roster, but still coming in at 17. I don't get it. Again, I'm not saying the Jets should be 2 or anything crazy on here, but let's just go in front of some of the names listed off in front of the Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears at 16. I get it. I'm excited to watch Caleb Williams as well. They get Malik Neighbors. Are they improved? Yes. Are they a borderline playoff team in the NFC? Yes. But I don't think they should be in front of the Jets at 16 there. I think that's a mistake. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 15, their starting quarterback is going to be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. They have a great head coach. There are still question marks at the wide receiver position for this team. Their offensive line is improved. I love their draft on the offensive line. They're going to have a pretty solid defense, but I wouldn't put them in front of the Jets. I think they're going to hover around the 500, which is what they do every single year. They did it last year. And if you were just basing it off of the rankings from last year to this year in playoff matchups, then you'd go 1 all the way down to whatever. That'd be one thing, but that's not what they're doing. And part of this is projection. I don't think the Steelers are better than the Jets. Maybe they end up being, but I don't think that's right. The Rams at 14, I put the Jets and the Rams in a similar kind of boat. Rams in an easier division, by the way, or easier conference. So I think that helps them. They did lose one of the best defensive players of all time in Aaron Donald, but I really like Matthew Stafford. I think he's underrated. I'm not crazy upset that the Jets were listed below the Rams, but the Jaguars, they are such an overrated team. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 13, the Browns at 12. I understand that they have an elite level defense. Major question marks at the quarterback spot. They won 11 games last year. I get it. I know, but the chances of that happening again, unsure. Cowboys at 11, fine. Packers at 10, fine. Cincinnati at 9, fine. They obviously weren't a very good team, but guess what? They're getting their quarterback back, and they are rising up into closer to a top 10 team in the league. But the Jets are below average. I don't get it. The Bills, I think the Bills got worse from last year, but if you want to even still give them, they have Josh Allen, and they've done it in the division for so long with the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I'm not going to go nuts over that one, but them sitting at 8 and the Jets at 17 is a little much. The Dolphins at 7. I think the Jets and Dolphins are very close. Dolphins have done it the last 2 years, making the playoffs. Haven't done much since getting there. They deserve the respect to be ranked, I would say, probably higher than the Jets. Not saying that it's a guarantee it's going to finish that way, But I think the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets should definitely be closer knit than what they are. Again, if you want to go based on past history and say the Bills have won the division each of the last 5 years, the Miami Dolphins made the playoffs each of the last 2 years, so both of those teams are going to be ahead of the Jets, fine. I don't have an issue with that. My issue is the drop from 7 to 17. Are there 10? Is there a 10-team difference between the Jets and the Dolphins? That I don't think I'm with. That I'm not with. Houston being in the top 6, fine. Eagles top 5, fine. Lions top 4, fine. Ravens top 3, fine. San Francisco and Kansas City. So I think the Jets at 17, again, I would just want to move it back down here. Far too low. Far too low for me. I think you have to move them up at least 1, 2, I would say 3 spots. Maybe the Rams as 4. But they should be closer to like 13 or 14 rather than 17. I don't look at the Jets as a below average team in the league. If you're just talking about there's 32 teams, 16 is league average. Chicago Bears are supposed to be a league average team. I think the Jets are going to be better than the Bears this year. But anyway, what do I know? I'm just a Jets fan. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you agree with the power rankings? Do you think it's disrespectful? I want to hear from you. Sound off. I'll catch you next time.